I'll just give a brief background, just because this one's been a little odd. We wanted to get Mr. Candido's application in under the wire, just because we were removing the fee waiving procedure for flood applications. And we've all driven past that property. Was significantly damaged by the flood. Effectively, the building's unusable. How Mr. Candido needs to move forward is one way or the other, whether it's demolition or rebuild, he's gonna have to get a wetlands permit. So getting him in before you guys, just for that kind of aspect of it, determining what he actually wants to do is gonna be necessary. Right now, I'm working with him and his representative to maybe just get on paper the demolition, and we'll handle that. And that way, Mr. Candido, at whatever time he decides, can react however he needs to react for his particular property, whether a demolition is necessary or whatever the case is. This clears that up as far as that goes. We'll establish that, erosion controls and all the mitigation measures that'll be required from this commission will be supported on the plan. But that's kind of the background of what we're going to be looking at here. I believe they've already started installing erosion controls just as a good faith measure to protect that brook that runs, between Oak Tree and Main Street South. But that's the update I have for you.
Is there a date that we're going to stop working with the flood permits,
Yeah, that date has already come and gone.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so no more fees will be waived for flood-related damage.
Okay. All right, so we have, then the next one is application 1751. We had some discussion on this at the prior meeting. We did not have a draft resolution in place to approve. Is the applicant here for that? Are there any questions for the applicant? Is it just a standard resolution that you have for that one? All right, well, I'll accept the motion then if we don't have any more questions on that one. Anyone? Should we go through this again? Do you want to go through the discussion again?
Not again, but the main issues.
The main issues? Thad and I did a site visit on that. This is the last lot in the subdivision up there. There was a intermittent water course, which was the major part of the wetlands, I guess you might say. There's a couple of pocket wetlands in there that didn't appear to me that they had a great deal of function as far as, storm retention and so forth. They proposed moving the driveway from where it was originally shown so that they wouldn't have to excavate a rock outcropping, for one thing, and that it did put it a little bit closer to the border line of the wetlands. But I thought it was a good trade-off, and it also realigned it so that the driveway, so that the car's headlights wouldn't be going into the adjacent house, and I thought it was a reasonable trade-off.
Okay.
I didn't have any real serious concerns up there. Did you, Thad, have any?
Also, moving it over means that they overlap less, because part of it coming in the driveway was going to be, both of them were going to be driving on it, it looked like. And then
Okay.
now they're moving it over just a little bit, and it makes more sense.
There was a small existing pipe in place. There's kind of like a farm road in there now, so that'll be upgraded. But I didn't really have too many concerns with that site. It's relatively flat. There is some contour, but nothing appreciable really. So I think what they proposed was the erosion controls, the site situation and so forth is appropriate.
I'll make a motion to approve the application.
All right, so we have a motion to approve application 1751 according to our standard resolution.
Can I make a quick note that the resolution should reflect the upgrading of the stream crossing that's existing and was under the original permit that you would just reference needing to be upgraded? That should be included in the resolution.
Okay. With that correction or addition, do I have a second? Michael seconds. Any more discussion on that one? All in favor? Aye. Okay, the motion carries. I understand that the next application has been withdrawn. That would be application 1745. So we will continue on to application 1747. That was another application where Thad and I did this site visit, same day, I think, wasn't it? We went and looked at that, and that's for a construction, a new building construction towards the end of Church Road, which is the road off of Old Waterbury Road that parallels alongside the highway. There's some condos up at the end of it on the left. This would be on the right between Church Road and the highway. The applicant is here, I think, if you have any questions. I didn't have any major concerns on that one as well. The source of the wetlands, there's a drainage pipe that comes out from underneath the highway. So and it's really, I think, just stormwater for the most part. So there's an intermittent water course, and there is a section of wetlands which I'm gonna speculate may have been larger before they put the highway in, and I think the highway kind of cut it off. So, again, it's an instance where I would not consider it to really be a high-value wetlands because of the location, the fact that I think some of the water supply was cut off to it after the highway was built, and there's basically an intermittent water course there. Any changes to the draft resolution on that one, or is that pretty much straightforward?
Draft resolution is included in the packet. That one again. Yeah, relatively straightforward. Nothing
That
really
good?
too concerning, but if there's anything the commission feels should be added, now would be the time. It's included with the application file there. I can leave you as a copy of mine as well.
I have a question. I went out there twice on 2 different visits. One of them, they talked about putting in 2 driveways. And this last one, they talked about putting in 1 driveway, so
Let's see what we have here. It's looks like an entrance and an exit kind of system to me.
okay, maybe that's the case. That wasn't quite the way they explained it, but
Actually, Charles Spaff, the record, there's actually 2 separate parking spaces with green in between, so so there's 4 parking spaces here, 4 there, and this is gonna be grass.
That's the explanation. Here, I'll move this. So this is Church Road, the highway. This is where the water comes out from underneath the highway. There was a small pocket wetlands here. That's the one I'm sort of speculating maybe at one time there was more flow that entered here, but
But otherwise, it's not affecting the flow over here.
no.
That's just runoff, you said
I
stormwater.
think this is their clearing line. So it's within the setback, some of it. Not the building, not really any of the improvements, just access really, I think, to,
Okay. It'd be nice for the town to have something like that. Okay,
okay?
yeah. And
You wanna look at it down at this, you guys?
Is there a benefit to having grass areas to
Hmm?
allow access?
Sure. I guess. Now, what's this building here, though?
Looks like sidewalk.
That's a gallon,
Oh, there's a
pump
tank.
tank.
Supposed to pump tanks.
Oh, okay, there's underground, okay.
May have larger print. I don't know what scale that is. I do have a
What are you trying to tell us?
My eyes are bad too. But this is a larger, I only have three, and the top one is the larger, the second one is the smaller.
That's fine.
No, go ahead.
Just one quick question.
I've gone up there twice. and-
Is there any benefit to
Mm-hmm.
having this grass area to allow emergency vehicles to have better access in and out?
They can, but right up the road is a turnaround also.
roof.
So right up the end here is a
Yeah,
turnaround,
roof
not that
drains.
far, maybe about 400 feet.
No, I mean, just as far as getting in here, because right now, any emergency vehicles would come in, and rather than being able to just pull straight through,
Yeah.
or get, I mean, you'd probably only be able to get like, one fire truck, possibly in here.
We can do one entrance, but what we tried doing is, this is gonna be, we're trying to get,
Oh, the
four
two,
two-bedroom apartments, so we're trying to keep it
Understood.
split.
understood,
And from the road, it's not that far from the road, it's only 50 feet,
yeah.
from the street line, so it's not that far back, so I don't think there's any issue really with the emergency vehicles
Okay.
getting in there.
I just,
Fire apparatus, I think they could reach it from the street. they
Okay.
can roll in.
One car for each apartment?
it's easy being a Monday morning quarterback.
Oh, no.
There's always a lot of questions and everything, but, so in the middle, it
Well,
really is
I
like two
guess-
driveways, and we didn't not color it in, but in the middle, it's gonna be grass.
Yeah.
And the idea was to
I
keep it
guess-
kind of separate.
Yeah,
4
understood.
units, and there are 4 parking there and 4
Who's
over,
eight
so that's
people?
8, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, so,
Any questions for him while he's,
no noise barrier,
I'm sorry,
no noise barrier.
not shown.
Yeah.
That would probably have to be a DOT thing anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely not our room.
No.
With the outlet pipe, the pipe that comes under the highway, is that what you're referring to?
I'm sorry?
The pipe that comes under the highway, is that what you're referring to?
No, she said, about a noise barrier, and I said that would be a DOT thing. You know how they have the noise along the close to the residential
The
thing?
$1 million a mile?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
So-
gonna be a tough issue to deal with.
The good thing is this is lower than that.
lower than the highway, yeah,
Higher
it is.
from here.
Yeah, it is quite a bit. All right, standard resolution for this one, let's see. Do we want to call for any, markers?
They're on the plans,
They're on the plans,
yes,
wetland markers?
yes.
Well, there's some wetland markers out there right now.
So
Do we
Carl,
need-
it's actually
do we need-
wetlands.
Excuse me 1 second. Do we need to put wetland markers on our resolution? All right. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 markers, and there's also split rail fence.
Okay. And so you're using that as an additional
Yeah, it looks better than marker.
boundary line sort of idea, right?
Yeah, so there's a split rail fence.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. And these are the markers. It goes to split rail, marker, 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 sorry, maybe one more than I said. 1, 2, 3,
Squares.
4, 5, 6, split rail fence. We can put a marker on the split rail.
Yeah, how about one down here
Yeah,
somewhere?
or right on the corner post.
Something like that,
Yeah.
just for this area.
Yep, so it's split rail fence, I can add that, and then here's a marker.
You got one?
marker,
Okay.
so-
All right, so I'll make a motion then to approve application 1747 according to our resolution, draft resolution with the addition of the inclusion Of how many did we say? 8 now totally? Is that what we added one, so it's 8?
One here. 9 and 2 on the split rail.
Okay,
It'll be 9 posts and 2 markers on the split rail.
all right, so we'll call it 9 markers. All right, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Donna seconds. Any more discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Okay, let's see, let's put that away. Okay, let's see, Gary, I guess you're up. Application F 2024. This is the town's application for, repairing the damaged bridge culvert, whatever you prefer to call it, down, below where the library is located. And we had some discussion, at the last meeting about it. It's gonna be pretty similar concept in size and scope and procedure as the one that they did up in the Purchase last summer. Pretty similar to that, I think, correct? Let's take a look and see what we have for that one. Here we go, nope,
2024.
I don't have that one, I
So I have a
guess.
question, what size are we looking at in total culvert? Because we had a new culvert put in a few years ago. And now, how much bigger does this one have to be to accommodate the expected volume?
Thank you. Gary, could you address that question?
Yeah, how much, because, so a couple of years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, when they went in there to put in a new culvert, and then. On Oldfield? Oh, Oldfield Road, this is right down next to where the other road comes in. I was out there on a site visit, it was like 3 years ago, and they were doing something to the culvert to make sure it could handle a little bit more volume. But obviously, it wasn't able to handle the volume that we got from this storm. So how much bigger is this one?
The existing culverts are twin 72-inch RCPs, which is about 56 square feet of hydraulic opening. We're putting in a hydraulic opening, it's gonna be 20 by 7, 140 cubic feet, square feet. So 3 times the size, just about.
Okay.
The existing culvert can pass approximately I believe it was a 25-year storm. The new one's gonna be a 100-year storm.
Okay.
Now, the storm we got back in August was like a 700-year storm, so we're not gonna design for that.
Right.
But this culvert will hold up. If you all remember Purchase Brook, that culvert was just installed. It held up fine. Everything got washed around it, but the culvert stayed high and dry. So, and this will really reduce the amount of flooding on Oldfield, which they have been having quite a bit in the past, and Public Works has been repairing after quite a few storms, even before last August storm. So,
Okay,
it'll solve the problems.
let me see what we have here.
And just so you're aware, Carl, the resolution is very much a mirror of the Purchase Brook. So conditions therein were applied to the previous project.
And let me just read the first few of these to the commission in case they present any questions, and then so whereas the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency makes the following findings with regard to this application, and this is for the reconstruction of bridge number 130-009. Roadway and right-of-way improvement for safety, pedestrian access, as well as facilitating the construction of a new crossing, installation of cast-in-place wing walls and cutoff walls at the inlet and outlet of the structure, clearing, grading, excavation, and depositions deemed necessary to accomplish the construction and installation of the new culvert, installation of upstream cofferdams and water bypass pipes as needed, culvert installation with base depressed 2 feet below the existing stream bed with 2 feet of natural stream bed material to be placed in the bottom of the new culvert. So that's kind of the bulk of the application. Any more questions for the applicant, or?
I have one if I may. With the enlarged hydraulic opening, how will that affect the water elevation heading downstream and dumping into Poverty Road, or into the Pomperaug River?
By the time you get to the Pomperaug, it's gonna go back to whatever it is right now,
Okay,
elevation-wise.
all right.
I mean, it's like 1,000 feet to the Pomperaug, so it's gonna pretty much get back down to what it's been, the normal flow that happens right now.
Okay.
All right, if there's no more questions, call for a motion, please.
I'll move to accept application F 2024 with the draft resolution as is.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? No?
Just to be clear, the motion, Donnie, you just made was to accept.
Accept, approve.
Accept.
Yep,
I would amend that language for,
Approve.
To approve.
all right, so we have a motion to approve application F 2024. We have a second from, who was it?
Tom.
Tom? No more discussion or questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, the motion carries. Thank you.
Town thanks you too.
All right, next on our to-do list is application F 2025. That's 294 Jeremy Swamp Road. I understand the applicant wishes to have an extension, is that correct?
Well, I'd like to propose the work, and you came out and saw the site. What we wanna do is just put back where the road is and put riprap rock over it. And then higher up on the.
Hey, Scott, if you can just introduce yourself. Introduce yourself to the
Oh, I'm
commission.
sorry. Name's Scott Meyer. I live at 294 Jeremy Swamp Road.
Okay,
What we're proposing to do is to replace the earth that eroded from the past major storm we had, and put riprap rock over that to try to protect it from eroding in the future. Further on the embankment that eroded down by the brook, we wanted to put maybe like a 2-foot retaining wall that where the change in grade wouldn't be more than 18 inches to protect that area from eroding any further as well. Either out of like railroad ties or a loose stone wall.
okay.
And
So
that's it, really, that's what we're
So
looking
we're
to
just
do.
waiting on some sort of a diagram from you.
That I did submit to Sonia by email.
Oh.
And I don't have hard copies with me.
Okay, so then we need to schedule another site visit there then, I guess. We need to schedule another site visit there now that we have a site plan,
I think that would merit another site visit, correct?
okay?
Which would mean that Scott would have to provide this commission an extension to accommodate the new information that was received yesterday, as well as conduct a site visit so that a decision could be rendered at the next meeting, because we will be out of time then.
Okay, you need to submit a very brief 1-2 sentence letter to the staff requesting an extension because of the time element involved.
Okay,
And just so
And,
you're aware, Scott, that's if you're so inclined. The commission can't request that you make that. You would be providing that opportunity to the commission so that we could get through this application. Otherwise, if no opportunity to review that information is received, they had to have no recourse but to accept or deny the application. And if they felt they needed more information, it would likely be a denial.
Okay.
If we run out of time without the information, we just have to deny it as an incomplete application, and you kind of have to start over again, so we're trying to avoid that,
Okay,
all right?
so I'm asking for an
So-
extension, please.
Yeah, you have to just put it in writing and get it to the office, okay?
I will do that.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so, let's see, we have the ongoing cease and desist, ceased and correct at 471 Old Poverty Road. I understand, are you here to speak with us about that this evening?
About something else, but I can certainly speak.
Oh,
about it.
something
Do
else?
I need to go up here?
Well, if you don't wanna speak on this, we're
No, I can
just,
speak on it. Just, it's a pending legal
yeah,
matter.
yeah, please come up, give us your name and,
Sure. Hi, I'm Ann Colby, Southbury Land Trust Board member, and this is a pending legal matter. All parties are talking. We're not dragging our feet on this. If there's any concern, timeline, whatever from this commission, I can feed that back to the rest of my
no,
board.
I don't think so.
We're,
The
moving
areas-
forward, insurance company is
Yeah.
in the mix, and hoping to push this forward,
Okay,
so.
I don't think there's any real concerns at the commission level. Everything is stable up there as I understand it,
Yeah,
soil-wise
yeah,
and
it's
so
just a
forth.
question of,
So, it's just a
we're not
question,
taking no for an answer, so
it's
it's a
just a question of how
moving with
long
that.
it takes to work it out, I
Yeah.
guess, but
Okay,
we're fine with that.
thanks so much.
All right, is there something else you want to just?
We have an additional.
It was one of the applications that were accepted, Carl, so since they're here, might as well
Okay.
speak on it a bit.
This one.
Oh, this is the walking, I
Yes.
saw it in the pit invoices or something, right? Over,
No, this is new.
okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Pat Monahan, Stewardship Director of the Southbury Land Trust.
Yes, sir.
We're here seeking approval from the commission to put in an 800-foot trail at our new property on Old Waterbury Road.
Okay,
Old Woodbury Road, thank
Yeah.
you, yes.
that's the same thing that I saw some sort of a news article on. I saw something on that, but it doesn't matter.
Okay,
Go right ahead.
so it involves putting in a small parking lot in an open area that's existing on that property already, and then an elevated boardwalk, and then a lower 200-foot, what we call bog walk,
Okay,
and then a bridge over a stream, and then a observation deck on a pond.
okay,
It's being designed for people with mobility issues as well, so it's gonna be a pretty flat and wide trail.
yeah,
There are images of pictures of what we're thinking about in the pamphlet there. or
Okay.
We've got information there on design ideas.
okay.
So looking for approval to proceed.
Why don't you stay there a second? I have a question for staff, because that was done on a, matter of right application?
A trail?
That
And I apologize, Carl, I'm not, a recent trail application, I'm not familiar with at least.
Okay. I thought in the, so this was done on a permitted activity form? I'm not sure
Permitted
why
activity form.
it was done that way. I'm not
The
sure.
application form that was filled out?
That's how it was done.
Okay, so you're talking about the application form in front
The
of you?
application is a notification of permitted activity form.
Uh-huh.
Is that the correct way to go about it on this one?
For this, yeah, I mean, it's kind of an odd one, because there's no structures, this is accessory structures to effectively nothing, so it gets treated differently. It wouldn't be, a single-family home application, which is typically an entire application type. What we typically see are maintenance and restoration applications. That's the majority that come before you under this standard procedures because someone's just trying to make a modification to their existing home.
I mean, I could be wrong, and we've done a number of these over the years for the land trust, but I don't recall them coming in as permitted activities.
Permitted activities, so a formal application and then a formal hearing and procedure and then approval? Or is that kind of how you're,
Well, he's asking for an approval tonight.
not tonight. You'd be accepting the application tonight.
I think I'm still confused, but maybe we can
Sure.
discuss this privately or something.
Why don't I just briefly kind of state this? Based on what I've read through a lot of the applications, like remind me of the park that you and I, or the open space that you and I just walked.
Oh, like that.
That's Lovedale, right? So the Lovedale,
Yeah.
at that farm,
Yeah,
that's,
We've done them there, we've done them at Janie Pierce.
Correct.
We've done them all
There
over
are-
town, but,
there are permitted application files for those
okay, then I
applications.
stand corrected.
So I'm just following the procedure as I've seen it through
Okay.
the files
I guess it's
historically.
been long enough in between doing these that, my memory fails.
And the as-of-right nature, to my understanding, only applies to agricultural as-of-rights. So I feel legally we might have a difficulty navigating that from this procedural standpoint. The fees have been waived by the first selectman for
Yep.
this, so getting them through the procedure and the process, I think, is a completely fair way of
All right, so
handling it.
this is a preamble to another permit, another application, is that what you're saying?
Nope, this is the standard application procedure. They're here before you today. You are formally accepting, same as item 2 and 3, 207 Bagley Road and 60 Sleepy Hollow. We're accepting the application, setting a date for a site visit.
Okay.
And at the next meeting, we can, or you guys can render a decision if you
Okay,
felt
fair
so
enough.
inclined.
Okay,
I
thank you.
think that's it. Sorry for the confusion, it's entirely on my part.
Oh, it's interesting.
All right. Do you have anything else you'd like to bring to us this evening? Reports or anything like that?
We have hired, and the applicant has accepted our offer for a zoning enforcement officer. So they will be starting effectively on the 24th, I
That'll
believe.
be a dual role?
Yep, wetland zoning enforcement officer, same role that I previously held. But yeah, a great candidate, really looking forward to you all meeting them, and we'll take it from there.
All
But
right, when's the start date?
the 24th. So
Okay.
at the next meeting, you will be introduced to our next zoning and wetlands enforcement officer. And moving forward, if there's anything anyone from this commission needs, gonna be dealing with them, so it'll be good. I will obviously be here no matter what, so.
Bills and receipts? No? Correspondence? The minutes? Anybody have any changes, corrections, or otherwise?
They seemed okay.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then we're good? I make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 11th regular meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion to adjourn at 7:42.
Seconded.
That didn't take long. That's the quickest response I had all evening. All in favor? Aye. Thank you all for coming.
So, if that one was on a permitted activity, what is the other form called? Regulated activity?
So, this was on, let me get this right here. This was, did you go to that? Was it a waste of time?
Well, there was 200 people.
Oh, yes, right
I went to the last one they had in Southbury.
Sure. I'm pretty well.
No, I thought that application got pulled back,
Talking about most of it.
because there was some, I thought I read that the application got pulled back because there's some,
Sun, but
I
other
guess
than
there's
that,
some
I'm free Tuesday, I'm free Tuesday.
concern by some of the area residents
That was
About
kind
that
of my
property
impression
being
as well.
developed
Out of
the
the
way it is.
2.5 hours, there's about 15 minutes of.
This was 7 hours.
Yeah, I
7
missed,
hours.
you know,
Yeah.
so I don't really know.
I missed the last meeting, so
I was supposed to be here.
So
so was I.
I got involved
this is
with my
one that I don't see used very often. And I'm gonna have to get a little more clarification. So you have this one, and then you have the finding of an activity as a matter of right, which is the
Life happened.
agricultural
Life happened.
primarily.
Oh, it's too late. And then I get an email.
I'm not really too familiar with how,
need you.
If I leave now, it'd be a half an hour, you know, or.
what the classifications are or whatever for this one.
Yes, I know.
So I don't know, I'll probably talk to him during the week and maybe he can refresh my memory, because you have the matter of right, then you have this permitted activity form, then you have the minimal activity form,
Take care of that.
you know, and then you have the A and B or whatever it is.
We had one car in Middlebury, one of the properties I had, where they were doing things like this behind the pond that, Timex property owned. And they did it as an educational program. They got approved on the educational aspect of it.
Okay,
Other than
and
the
they did it,
agricultural.
they did it on this form, or?
Not on that form,
Oh.
but they went in with a matter of right on education because it was a training thing because there was like a wetland area where there were certain things. It was unbelievable, you know? I recollect that, but maybe that can help the situation with education.
And they did that as a matter of right.
That's what the claim was when they went in. Maybe,
There's a stabilization problem out at the tree site on Platte.
I remember they would bring the kids there and they were gonna train. It was all a big story. I never saw any of it happen. That was the claim.
Well,